Good morning and welcome back to Movies TV Mad. I'm Mick, your host with the most. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad, and welcome to Wednesday's edition. It is Wednesday, right? Welcome to Wednesday's edition of the dceu Daily. If you ever watch a live from me and technically it goes wrong because the sound's bad or the picture's going off and it misses out what I'm saying, it's because I've got terrible internet. So I do apologize, but I like to do live because my internet's crap. To upload an HD video takes 6 hours, so I don't want to do that either. So let's begin. Today's dceu Daily. Bobcat, hey Mickey, Bobcat, how are you doing? Bobcat did my trailer. Bobcat did my logo. Thank you very much, Bobcat. I'm always humbly grateful for what you've done for this channel and your continuing support. From the moment the Flash movie was delayed, me, this guy with a small platform, right, who nobody's ever heard of before, told you there was a deeper, darker reason for the Flash being delayed. You said, no, what do you know? Who are you? How many followers you got? How many subscribers you got? It's VFX. How do you know it's VFX, I said? Because that guy said it, because the studio said it. When did the studio say it? I told you. Bobcat, of course, Mickey. Love the content. Thank you, Bobcat. I told you that movie was delayed for a reason. And I also told you that the director and his producer sister suddenly went silent about the movie for a reason. You said no. It's because, this is what you said, don't laugh everyone else, but this is what everyone said, the defenders, it's because they're busy. Well, The Rock wasn't too busy to react to the delay of Black Adam. David F. Sandberg, the director of Shazam! Fury of the Gods, wasn't too busy to make a joke about his movie being pushed forward, being released at the same time as Avatar 2. He wasn't too busy. Nobody else was too busy apart from the Flash movie director, Andy Muschietti, and his sister, Barbara Muschietti. Bobcat, and you were right once again. Thank you, Bobcat. Look, I'm happy to be right or wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with being wrong either. But I was right. I was right because I was acting on the information that I had. But not only that, my gut, my experience of the industry, spending 6 months in Hollywood myself, I know how all this works. It was obvious that film was delayed for a reason. Do you know why Black Adam was delayed? Because The Flash was delayed, right? It's a domino effect, as I explained to you before. Do you know why Shazam was pushed forward? Because The Flash was delayed till next year. Again, you know why Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom was delayed till next year? Because The Flash was delayed. It all makes sense. And you know what, people? You just have to sit down and think about it for a minute. So because I like to be factual, the Screen Rant have got an article about Ezra Miller and this situation. Because allegedly, he's reoffended again. Yes, it's not enough that he did all those other things, allegedly, that he went into someone's apartment and threatened that person's wife by calling her a very disrespectful name. They, because that's how he likes to be addressed, they apparently have done something again. It wasn't enough for they to go into a karaoke and start trouble. He went back to Hawaii. He loves Hawaii for some reason. Does he live in Hawaii? Who knows? Did I just say he? I apologize. I mean they. If I say he instead of they, it's not because I'm being disrespectful. I respect the fact that everyone should be addressed in the way they want to be addressed in, but you forget, I come from the 80s, where there was only he, him, and her, right? That's all we had. So I'm old. I've got to get used to this strange, it is strange for us, strange new world. Anyway, let's read this article so we're factual, and then we'll go into this. What can be done about this? What should you and I, as a consumer, be doing about this? 80s Rewinder times 90s. Hey, Mick, man, am I pissed and hurt by this news? What the fuck is wrong with him? Well, clearly, there's a lot wrong with him, 80s Rewinder times 90s. But it isn't yours or my problem. We get our shit. I've suffered with mental illness all my life. And I've had to do something about it, right? Because I'm not a millionaire actor. Kevin O. Doghair. Oh, we lying. We are. Good evening, good afternoon, no, good morning, Kevin. Bobcat, I think he needs help and I hope he gets it. Yes, He can get the help he needs. Look, Bobcat, I'm not going to pretend to be this compassionate geezer. I just don't care. All I know is that I have challenges. I know that you have challenges. I know the whole world of the working class world who isn't a millionaire elite in an entertainment industry because I haven't got Hollywood DNA. You haven't got Hollywood DNA. He's got Hollywood DNA, so he's protected. Johnny Depp doesn't have Hollywood DNA, so he was thrown to the wolves. 80s rewind at times, 90s, I suffered too. I got help. I wanted the help. He needs to go get help. Listen, it doesn't matter. He should never play the Flash again. Nothing else matters, right? His problems are his problems. He's a millionaire. He has someone who probably puts his slippers on, who cuts his nails for him, right? It's up to him, right? Mental illness is difficult. It ain't like a cold. You can only get help if you want the help. It's down to him. I simply do not care about him. I'm here because I love film, because I like DC live action. Yes, that makes me an asshole. I don't care, right? Now, we will discuss it in a minute, because I'm very passionate about what I think should happen next. So, the Flash star Ezra Miller reportedly arrested again in Hawaii. As I say, it wasn't enough for him to think maybe, oh my God, I've just about got away with this, but my reputation's shit. I better not do anything again. No, he didn't look at it that way. He thought, oh, fuck it, I don't care. I'll get away with it. I'm Ezra Miller. 80s rewind at times, 90s. I agree completely. I don't want to see him as the Flash. Move on. I was so damn excited for this movie. Who knows if we will see it? We shouldn't see it, because how can we continue? How can the DCEU continue? The Flash actor Ezra Miller has reportedly been arrested again in Hawaii following a number of legal incidents in the last couple of weeks by Andy, whose surname I can't pronounce, of Scream Ram. Bobcat, let's just reboot DC with a new universe and use the Batman as the first film in the new universe. Or, if Matt doesn't want to be a part of that, let him do what he's doing and just create something new. I will talk about it. I've been saying this for weeks, Bobcat, and I absolutely, completely agree with you. Following multiple arrest reports in the last few weeks, the Flash star Ezra Miller has reportedly been arrested once again in Hawaii. When Warner Brothers revealed its initial plans for the DCEU back in October 2014, Miller was one of the original cast members to be brought on for the Envision DC League. For the Envision Justice League. While Grant Gustin has continued to portray the Scarlet Speedster on the CW's The Flash, Miller was cast as the cinematic iteration, the first big screen take on the character. Since the end of March 2022, the 29-year-old actor has been in multiple scandals in Hawaii. On Sunday, March the 27th, Miller was arrested by local police due to a disorderly conduct and harassment. It included the Justice League star yelling obscenities and getting agitated with visitors singing karaoke. But they also lunged at a 32-year-old man playing darts. Miller was also initially hit with a restraining order by a Hawaiian couple after they had broken into their apartment and threatened to murder them before stealing various belongings. I mean, it's not like he has to steal their belongings. I mean, that restraining order was, however, dropped as of April the 12th. I wonder why they dropped it. Bobcat, let's just reboot DC with a new universe and use the... Oh, no, I've read that. Bobcat, I don't want the Snyderverse or the DCEU. I just want something new. It's too messy and I think unrepairable at this point. You speak perfect sense, my friend. That's exactly what I'm going to say after I read this article. I agree. It cannot be fixed. We will talk about it. While Miller has been reported to... I really hate when I get notifications as I'm reading an article. While Miller has been reported to attend numerous hearings, the Flash lead has gotten involved with local law enforcement once again. In a new report from Hawaii News, now, Miller was arrested by police on Hawaii Island on Tuesday morning. KITV Island News also added that Miller was arrested due to a complaint of second-degree assault. The Hawaii Police Department confirmed the report, including details on Miller's arrest at 1 a.m. Miller had caused tension after being asked to leave a get-together at a private residence in Lower Puna. It led to the actor throwing a chair that led to a 26-year-old woman getting hurt on the forehead, leaving an approximate half-inch cut. According to the report, the woman has refused treatment for her injury. Miller was released today pending further investigation after a complete conferring with the county prosecutor's office. However, Hawaii police stressed that this is still an active case. So he was released today pending further investigation after a complete conferring with the county prosecutor's office. However, Hawaii police stressed that this is still an active case at this moment. Similar to the previous incidents in the last few weeks, neither Miller nor the representatives commented on this article's publication. While Miller's The Flash future is unknown for the time being, there were stories about how Warner Brothers and DC Films had allegedly held an emergency meeting in the light of the legal issues. However, the studio reached out to the press to debunk the story while still not making any statements about the situation. I don't know if they had emergency meetings last time, but something tells me you're going to fucking need lots of emergency meetings now. So where are we? Bobcat, I wouldn't have dropped the restraining order. I'm being honest. Like, if he threatened to murder me and my wife, he's still doing stuff like this. I don't care how much money they're throwing at me. I'm keeping it. The Flash movie finished shooting in late 2021 and is currently in post-production after getting its November the 4th release date pushed to June the 23rd, 2023. Amidst Miller's legal situations, the actor reprised the role of Credence Bourbon Aurelius Dumbledore in Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore. It is yet to be determined if Miller would have any involvement with a potential Fantastic Beasts 4. Warner Brothers may not take action until they see the results of Miller's upcoming hearings. How many fucking more results do you need before deciding on what to do with the actor, where to go with the Flash franchise, and the character's role in the DCEU? Oops, I nearly dropped my phone. Let's switch it off so we can keep the reception up. Right, let's discuss this. 80s Rewind the Times 90s. Warner Brothers cannot dismiss this. Take action. Bobcat, I saw Fantastic Beast and it was excellent, but seeing him in it took me out of it a bit. I never really, when someone is doing things in the real world and maybe I don't approve of them or whatever, I don't think about it because I look up to the characters, not the actors. I don't hero worship artists. I represent the process of actors and art and all of that, and I accept they create the character I look up to. But it's like Alison Mack in Smallville. I can still look up to Chloe. Chloe's my hero. Chloe didn't do anything wrong. That's on Alison Mack. She did something great on Smallville. I will always respect that. It's like the Michael Jackson stuff. I can still listen to his music. His music is something else, right? I'm not supporting what he's accused of. There's a difference. And I think a lot of people today can't separate that difference. Hashling me, Mike, what about Barry arrests? Yeah, Barry Coogan, that was nothing. He wasn't violent. It wasn't a big deal. He was a little bit drunk. He was released straight away. Nothing to worry about. Right. Let me give you an analogy here. Basically, imagine I'm a scientist, right? And I've got my petri dish and I do an experiment. The experiment blows up in my face. It could destroy the whole of humanity, right? Not that the DCEU can destroy the whole of humanity, but what am I going to do as a professor and a scientist? I'm going to say, this is a failed experiment, right? I'm going to get my Bunsen burner and burn the fuck out of it so nobody can ever see it and it can't do any damage. 80s Rewind the Times 90s. I love these damn DC characters. I truly look up to them. This just hurts, man. I'm upset. So, the DCEU and the Snyderverse are failed experiments. I love the Snyderverse. I do. But it's done. It's over. It's a mess, right? As Bobcat said, it's a mess. It's done. Snyder's doing very well, thank you very much. It's done. It's a failed experiment. The DCEU without Snyder is like a newborn child without its parents, right? It's dead. Burn it. Get rid of it. But they didn't do that. They were trying to do a multiverse strategy that I supported for a very long time until the delays at the Flash started. But it's obvious. This was never going to work. What David Zaslav and Discovery must do now is make the ruthless decision to disband the Snyderverse. Not that it's already disbanded, that element of the DCEU. Disband the DCEU. And as Bobcat said again, rightly, start again. It's something I've been saying for weeks. I told you lot, the Flash have been delayed for reasons. And maybe Ezra Miller is just one of many reasons, right? As I said to you weeks ago, why do you think they leaked the test screenings? Why do you think all these spoilers about the Flash movie are coming out? To distract you from the shit that's going on with Ezra Miller. And I can assure you, again, you're going to hear more leaks about Ta-Nehisi Coates' Superman, about the Flash movie, about Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, anything. I will block anyone sharing any leaks. I am not interested. I am not interested. Ezra Miller is doing bad shit. We don't want him as the Flash. It's done. Now, I know Snyderverse stands will defend him. We don't know what's going on yet. We do, right? It's been confirmed by police in Hawaii every freaking time. This is not an agenda, not by anyone. This is the truth. It is done. It is over. The DCEU is not fit for purpose. I've already tagged Warner Brothers Discovery. It doesn't matter. They're not going to listen to me. I'm nobody. I understand that. Disband the whole fucking lot of it. Trill J, what's up, Mick? Good morning, Trill J. Bobcat, I like how instead of addressing this, WB is like, surprise, we're making a Wonder Twins movie. Exactly. It's like they did with the Frosty movie. Do you remember? Surprise, we're making a Wonder Twins movie. Like, who wants this stuff? Exactly. They haven't even greenlit a sequel for the Batman, but they're greenlighting Aqualad and Wonder Twins. What the fuck is going on with this studio, man? Children, this is why I said the Snyderverse didn't need to be restored. Most of the actors he brought in had never been in the spotlight, in my opinion. That's why Ezra is flashing out. Oh, you know what? It doesn't really matter, Trill J. It doesn't matter. I want to restore the Snyderverse, but it's done. The DCEU is no good. It's not fit for purpose. You've made movies. You've spent money on them. You've lost money before. You can lose money again. Just move away from this franchise. Start again with the right person running a DC Studios, with the right comic book people who love these characters, who know these characters, to do the best for these characters, because the DCEU didn't do the best for these characters. I don't think the DCEU did the best Superman they could have. Even though I love Cavill and I love Man of Steel, let's be honest here, they weren't making an effort with the source material like Matt Reeves was with the source material. Let's be honest. The DCEU is dead. I will lose many subscribers for saying this. I don't care. It's my take. It's how I feel. It is done. Move away. Failed experiment. Failed experiment. There is no way now. People keep on saying, ooh, people will forget about the Ezra Miller stuff next year if they release the movie. How can people forget? He keeps on doing the next thing. He won't listen to anyone. He's not listening to people's advice. For Andy Muschietti, the director of The Flash, to go silent, some serious shit was going on that set. It is done. You lot keep on telling me, Mick, there'll be a Flash teaser at this WonderCon or whatever it is on Saturday. You think, even if they show the Flash trailer, it doesn't really mean we're going to see it. They're still showing We Need Heroes in 2022 trailer, which shows Aquaman and the Flash are coming out this year. So just because you see trailers, it doesn't mean something's happening. Just because Patty Jenkins said she's still working on a Wonder Woman 3 script doesn't mean you're going to see Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman anytime soon or ever. This is the mishmash way this studio works in. They're a mess, an absolute mess. '80s rewind times '90s. Mike, what's the next move that they make? WB? Who knows? Who knows? Well, I think they've decided just to bury their heads in the sand and keep on green-lighting shit we're never going to see. Trill J. Also, I'm kind of tired of Ezra. He let me down with the other incident. I let it slide. But now I see he only cares about himself. It's done. It's over. There's no plugging this. There's no way of cleaning this up. It is done. It is over. It's dead before the creation of man. Dead before it started. It is done. Get some paraffin, take the DCEU, burn it. Ezra Miller, get rid of it. Send him wherever you send these people when they break down, right? Bobcat, they should put me, you, and Roddy Dodge in charge of DC, McLow. That would be fun. That would be a lot of fun. Trilogy, Amber Heard has to go. If she loses the trial, I want her gone. Listen, if you disband the DCEU, if you delete the DCEU, they're all gone. That's the best thing. Just get rid of all of them and start again. Yeah, you're Miss Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. So what? Get over it. We'll get a better Wonder Woman, right? It happens. Or bring her back in a separate one. I don't know. But it doesn't work. It hasn't worked. It is a failed experiment. And it's as simple as that. Hashling me. Does he live in Hawaii? No idea where the guy lives. Oh, sorry. I have no idea where they live. Sorry. I'd love to know the logic on calling yourself they. Bobcat, I'm a Margot Robbie Harley Quinn fan, and DCEU, just get rid of the DCEU. Yeah, get rid of it. I mean, Margot Robbie's doing a feminist Barbie movie, so yeah. There's plenty of women out there to play Harley Quinn as well, so at the end of the day, could have been good. The DCEU could have been good. It wasn't good. It's done. It's a mess. It was a mess when it started because they didn't bring the right people to run it. It is done. And Zack Snyder himself cast Ezra Miller. His other castings are great, but that casting is bad in so many ways. At the end of the day, it's done, isn't it? It is done. It is over. And living in denial about that doesn't change, that this doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's as simple as that. Trill J Hash, he should have been left Hawaii. He has millions. Why the hell is he still there? Just silly. Yeah, it is. I mean, no one now. Now he's reoffended. There could be no defending of this situation. And this studio must act today. If Warner Brothers Discovery, the new leadership, want to be professional, you make public statements. The old days where you cover this shit up isn't going to work because the internet doesn't allow you to cover anything up, right? If I press live by mistake and I'm banging somebody's wife, right? She was leaning on the live button, right? And I'm banging her, right? It's going to be out there to be seen. I'm exposed. That's it. I mean, I'd be quite proud of it. But I'm just saying, right? The internet doesn't allow you to cover anything up anymore. That's life. Bobcat, like Snyder, Amber Heard, Ezra Miller, Jared Leto, and his stupid method acting, multiple Batman, Ray Fisher, and even Will Smith. Now just restart, please. Yeah, it's done. It's done. I mean, it must be a nightmare. I love Jared, but it must be a nightmare. Working with someone who's got this heavy suit on and wants to take 2 fucking hours to walk to the loo. It just can't work. George, also he's lucky. I don't work with him. Oh dear, I can't say that on here. I would have been violent to his head. I didn't care if he's right. He kicked. Right, I'm not going to read that, George. Sorry, that's very. I can't read that on this channel. It's too much. You have to do what I do, Trill J. When you have certain faults, you have to word them in a certain way so they don't come across as offensive. Once you can do that, it's better for you. You can't blatantly say certain things on the internet, I'm afraid. We don't live in that era. But yeah, children, I feel you, but you know what I mean. He keeps attacking females. Yeah, and it's allowed, isn't it? It's allowed. It's allowed because they are allowed to do whatever they want. Because certain people are allowed to do whatever they want. Because if they come from if they're put in a certain box in society now, they're protected. If they have Hollywood DNA, they are protected. And that's the problem as well with the extreme left. The extreme left love protecting people like Ezra Miller, right? But I don't care about politics because I don't support any politics of any side because it's all corrupt and shit, right? But the point is, I do care about DC live action. And if Warner Brothers Discovery are really the solution, make a public statement, make an aggressive statement that the DCEU will not go on because you know it's not fit for purpose and you're starting again. Make a public statement that Ezra Miller will never work for Warner Brothers Discovery until he gets the help that he needs. But you're not going to do that because you're part of the problem. And you're not going to solve the woes of the DC live action universe. You're in fact going to make them fucking worse because you're as clueless as the people there. And I'd love you, Warner Brothers Discovery, to prove me wrong. David Zaslav's been there for 2 weeks. He's made a bunch of business statements. That's it. Is there no one in this new organisation who wants to talk about the content? Children, forget working. He needs to be gone. Yeah, he needs to be gone. He needs to be gone. Simple as that. Designated pile driver. The DCEU wasn't a mess. Man of Steel, BVS, and Zack Snyder's Justice League were excellent. And the direction was an Elseworld Grant Morrison style epic. The problem was mismanagement. Whatever the problem is, Designated Pile Driver, I like those films as well. It's done. It's over. It's a mess. It is a mess. Those films are great. As you say, management, lots of management. First of all, Snyder, those films shouldn't be in a mainstream universe, Designated Pile Driver, right? There's a lot of reasons, but it's a mess. So, Bennett, you can enjoy those films whenever you want, but it is done. It is over. Let's move on and make a DC cinematic universe for everyone, right? So it is a mess, my friend. Whether I like those films or not, and I do. It's not about whether I like them or not. It's about me being able to be so not biased. So I'm not biased, you see. I'm not blinded by what I love, right? So I can say that the DCEU doesn't work. It must be disbanded. The Snyderverse has already been disbanded. Let's disband the rest of it and start again. Hashling me. This old DCEU produced Snyder or Stan, which is very toxic and unhealthy for DC itself. I agree. Designated Pile Driver. I don't agree, man. I think something different was needed and brave. No. It didn't work, though. It didn't work, Designated Pile Driver. Whether they're good movies or not, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a mainstream audience. Do you understand who the mainstream are? The mainstream audience and DC fans as well. We're not surfaced. It's business, Designated Pile Driver. I love what Snyder did, but we have to be truthful about this and unbiased. Bobcat, and I like Birds of Prey, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Shazam, and the Suicide Squad a lot, but I don't care. Just reboot it. Exactly, Bobcat. Designated Pile Driver. I did work. Who cares about a main? It did no. How did it work? Well, how did it work, Designated Pile Driver? Why? What's happened to the DCE? If it worked, why isn't the DCEU popular then? Listen, you've actually exposed what you're saying. You've just said, who cares? Designated Pile Driver. It did work. Who cares about a mainstream audience? It's about art. No, I'm sorry. You can do that in individual movies. Of course you can. You know, A24 do it a lot, and that's great. And I think they're the future. But when you're doing an IP that's worth so much money like DC, you can represent the art. But of course, what kind of business would you be running, my friend, if you said it doesn't matter about the mainstream audience? That's the problem. Just say the word zoinks. Fire Ezra Miller from The Flash and the DCEU. Trill J designated that none of the DC characters they used so far were LGBT. Really, they never needed him casted. Designated Pile Driver because people are surface level. It doesn't matter what people are. Right? You can't force people to want something that you want, and they don't. Designated Pile Driver, yes, it is about art. If we aren't talking about art, then what are we talking about? We are fans, not suits. We're fans talking about the best way to have a successful universe. We're fans, right? And not all fans like what Snyder did. The mainstream audience are people like you and me, and they have a right to get something that they want as well. And they're where the money is. And it's at the end of the day, it is a business. And if it doesn't make money, us, the fans, don't get to see it. And I want the best most exciting universe we can have. Balconator, if they replace Ezra, they should reset everything whole. Replacing Ezra with a Grant or different actor could confuse watching. Yeah, they wouldn't do that anyway. Well, they're mad. Who knows what they would do? But I agree with Balconator. 80s rewind the times, 90s. Marvel is going strong on their 28th movie with Doctor Strange 2, and the DCEU is going on just their 11th with Black Adam in October, if it happens. And now this. Mike, I'm so hurt, brother. Trill J, Mick, I think you're understanding what I've been saying with those Snyder movies. Yeah, I'm supposed to enjoy it. But if most fans don't like it, then DC is failing. Exactly, Trill J, exactly. I couldn't agree more. That's what I'm trying to say to Designated Pile Driver. Bobcat, I mean, it's a business. And I feel like we reboot it. We could make everyone happy. Yeah. But certain fandom just cares about what they want. That's the problem. Attacking the Batman fans, attacking the Batman, one of the greatest comic book movies ever made, doesn't really make sense. It's time to make a stand now. Forget these actors. All of them. Forget the whole thing like you've been saying, Bobcat. Just start again. You know what? It's common sense. I've been fighting for this franchise since Man of Steel. I've defended it. I've made excuses for it. But after hearing about him being arrested yet again and reiterating what I've been saying for weeks and months now, the DCEU is over. It doesn't have any consumer confidence enough to make a profit. And that's why studios make films at the end of the day, not to service you, but to service themselves with yummy money, right? That's how it works. And if something isn't making money, they ain't going to do it. They shouldn't be doing it. Trilogy, 80s bro. Marvel's just continuing. They're not going strong. Nobody is really excited from those movies. The only thing in DC that isn't working is the DCEU, not 90% of the other films. Yeah, the DCEU isn't working, that's for sure. The Batman, by the way, the Batman and the Joker did work. Just remember that. Bobcat, I'm sorry I like the Batman more than all three of the Snyder movies because to me, and the mainstream that is Batman, it's not even just my opinion. Look at the box office compared to Snyder DC movies. I made a good point yesterday that actually the way the Batman finishes in the final 5 minutes where he embraces hope, I said it on yesterday's DCEU Daily, that's how Man of Steel should have ended. Who's famous for hope and inspiration? Superman. Did he really finish in an inspirational way at the end of Man of Steel? A film I actually like. But yes, Bobcat, I'm agreeing with you. I like Snyder's DC movies, but it doesn't matter. We're talking about to have a successful universe because we all love DC, right? We want it to be successful. This is not it. It's not working. Trill J, Bobcat, yeah, but if you're a person like Truth 31, you're going to continue to lie for Snyder. And who's Truth 31? Who's Truth 31, Trill J? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, right? All these fans can have their opinions. Just because you say something on the internet, it doesn't make it true. Just because 20 people say that Batman isn't a good film, it doesn't mean they're going to stop making Batman movies. So you can have your takes, but if you think that your takes actually have an effect on a studio, you're wrong. You thought by getting a film released, you had power. You didn't have power. They saw that something had a trend. They thought, well, use this to launch our streaming service. 80s Rewind the Times, 90s, the Truth 31 is a YouTuber. All right. Who doesn't speak the truth properly. 80s Rewind the Times, 90s. He's so annoying. People who say they speak the truth normally are. People who say speak the truth never actually speak the truth. Trill J. Truth 31 is a Snyder YouTuber who said the Batman isn't a masterpiece and he attacks WB and lies and says Snyder films did well for DC. Well, let's look at the Snyder movies, right? Man of Steel made $650 million. The film probably cost about $400 million to make, including marketing. It didn't make the money a Superman film should bring because it was controversial. And after the opening, people didn't bother seeing it in their droves. It took forever. It took one of the longest times from a movie to bring in 200 million at the US box office, which was really bad. Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, of course, is a very controversial film. It had a great opening. It had one of the biggest drop-offs of all time, and it just about made 850 million. Again, it cost half of that to make and market, so it didn't make a profit. A film with Batman and Superman should be making Force Awakens, No Way Home money. That's a fact. That's part of the business of Hollywood. Hashling, me. Many said that the last 10 minutes of the Batman was too Superman. Do you agree? No. But what I'm saying is that's the kind of thing they should have done with Man of Steel. No. Because shall I tell you why? People don't actually understand the proper Batman from the comics. The proper Batman from the comics, and I mean the proper Batman, he isn't a dark character, actually. He is hope. He is what he is in that final 10 minutes of the movie. It's only because people are judging Batman on previous movies, so they actually think he's a darker character. Bobcat, I feel like the Snyderverse isn't as much of a big fan base as much as it is a small and very loud and annoying one. Well, listen, I appreciate the fans who love something and are fighting for something, who are not toxic. I appreciate them. I'm one of those fans. But ultimately, at the end of the day, no matter how big or small they are, it's all there in the box office. Now, the Snyder Cut did well, no question. Now, if Zaslav and Discovery feel it made so much money, then they're going to restore it, aren't they? As long as Zack wants to do it. And I would be happy with that. But ultimately, I think the whole thing's a mess, and we should just disband the whole thing, as you've been saying, Bobcat, and I couldn't agree more with that. Also, in other news, Netflix has lost a lot of subscribers in the past year or so. The Master of the Universe situation is ironic when people said they wouldn't subscribe to Netflix, and Netflix told Kevin Smith they didn't care. And look what's happened now. Now they're going to stop people sharing passwords. Let me explain to you something. When you share your password out, what happens? More people are viewing Netflix content. What do you think is going to happen if you stop sharing passwords? People are not going to subscribe instead, and you're going to lose a lot more views. But let them carry on, because streaming is already beginning to really bore the consumer. And if you go onto Netflix, they really don't have a lot of good content to keep on binging and watching more than once. Trill-J, oh man, I thought they did good with Squid Game. Yeah, I mean, you may like one or two things, my friend, but how many times did you see Squid Games? How many times did you rewatch things on there? Do you know what I mean? So Squid Games is good, okay? That is good, but it's not all good, is it? I think streaming will die out in the end, and I think it might be the best thing for entertainment. But yes, the dceu is dead. Trill-J, Squid Games was so viral, it was. But viral doesn't mean, it may look successful because something's gone viral, but being viral doesn't last very long. I could go viral for a week, but then I'm forgotten about. It's up to me to build on being viral. So if I ever become viral, right, I'm going to build on that. I'm going to find a way to take advantage of that. Bobcat, I really watch Disney Plus for Marvel and Star Wars and HBO Max. I watch for a lot of content. Yeah, to be honest with you, most streaming to me, I go on straight. I basically subscribe to all of them. I go on there. You know what I do? You know what I do on there? Spend my time doing on streaming services, looking what to watch. And I never decide. And then I come off again. Hashling, me. Batman always brings hope, not just fear. In the end, it's a superhero film where a hero actually helps civilians on screen, and not only by words. 80s rewind the times, 90s. I just want to see entertaining live DC movies. I hope these characters get done right going forward. Probably not in our lifetime, right? And if it is in our lifetime, I'll be happy to take that back. 80s rewind the times, 90s. I love Disney app. I love my Star Wars. I do. What do we think about Hayden Christensen saying that he binged Clone Wars and Rebels to prepare himself for his Obi-Wan Kenobi return as Anakin Skywalker? That makes my respect for him go even higher, and it was really high already. I actually think that I think we're going to get a Clone Wars live action series. I think they're prepping for it. Trill J, you know what? I've solved the solution. Get rid of this Flash film is the problem, honestly. The problem is, Trill J, that's the domino. It's all connected. That reboots the universe, right? That's the problem. 80s rewind to times 90s. Yes. So the DCEU, not fit for purpose. I told you this. I told you all this when I said blah blah blah, the delay in the Flash movie, and I spoke about it. I reacted to it. I said something's going on here. And then people started putting the VFX slander out there, which I found fucking hilarious, right? Because if that's the case, why would they advertising this film was being released this year a week before? It was clearly a sudden reactive move. Then they were leaking the Flash plot and the whole movie, right? To distract from the whole Miller situation. 80s rewind at times, 90s Revenge of the Sith is amazing. It is, and it breaks my heart how amazing it is. Bobcat, talk about a masterpiece. Look at the original Star Wars trilogy. Absolutely amazing. All the masterpieces are from the 80s and the 70s and a little bit of the 90s. I mean, Ghost is amazing. Balcony, the best case scenario for Ezra is the Flash comes very successful and Discovery makes him continue to be the Flash, but things aren't getting better for Ezra right now. Should I tell you something else as well? Because of the way they're doing this multiverse strategy in the reboot, the Flash is literally the lead member of the new Justice League. It's around him. He clearly can't handle that pressure. They clearly can't use him as someone who comes into the public with little kids. And I said to him again, I mean, they clearly can't use they to represent this franchise. He's got to go. He's at least got to go. George A. Mick, I told you all this when they weren't stopping this movie. All these people talking about it had something to do with the Snyderverse. Nah, that was like a lie to make you feel change, but no change. I don't know what you're talking about, Trill J. I don't really get what you're talking about. Maybe you can explain yourself. But as you know, if you follow my channel, I've been saying from the very beginning there was something suspicious about the Flash movie delays. They will not go forward with this movie. This movie will be delayed. They've already delayed it. You will never see this Flash movie, right? You will never see Wonder Woman 3 directed by Patty Jenkins. You may never see Aqualad. You may never see Wonder Twins. These men are just flipping green lighting things that they're never even going to make. And even when they do make them, they don't fucking release them. Look at the Flash movie. Look at Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. It's the Lost fucking Kingdom, all right? It's more like Aquaman and the Lost movie. 80s rewind at times, 90s. What was the big Wonder Woman 3 news? There was no big Wonder Woman 3 news, my friend. She basically reiterated what she's been saying for over a year, that they're still on the scripting. They're still on the scripting stage, and they can't wait to start making it, and they can't wait for us to see it. Bullshit. If she's on the scripting stage, that means the movie hasn't even been greenlit, that the studio hasn't even seen the script. And you know what I think? I think her pitch for Wonder Woman 3's been rejected on numerous occasions, just like Ta-Nehisi Coates' Superman script was, and just like Ava DuVernay's New God scripts were. I think we're going to another situation like that. Bobcat, Patty Jenkins is still writing the script. The question is, will it happen? Most likely not. It won't happen. I'm pretty good at identifying the bullshit in Hollywood. And I can tell you, they're only revealing that, what they've already revealed over a year ago, is because they're getting nervous about what we think. Trill J, scrap it, leave it, give me Matt Reeves, Batman and Superman of tomorrow, and let them remove 84. Remove 84 from the timeline. Give me traditional Supergirl. Yes, please. Ashling, me. If I recall, one of the cast from Squid Game have 400k follows, then become 44 million follows. Old updates. Just from Squid Game. Only, and it's her first ever drama. It's crazy. Well, that's what happens. It's not actually that crazy. Somebody watches something. Oh, I like him. I like her. Oh, that's their name. I'll go follow them. It's not a surprise. It can happen to anyone. Bobcat, I'm still not over Snyder's Aquaman and his air bubbles, lol. Yeah, well, what can I say? 80s rewind at times, 90s, Aquaman and the Lost movie. Ha ha ha, you're killing me, Mike, lol. It's true, innit? The Flash and the Lost Movie. Aqualad and the script that never happened. Wonder Twins. What are we doing here? Aqua Twins, let's go. Where are we? Well, we're never going to be seen. The only thing we're going to see this year, we're going to say that 2022 was the year that we saw the Batman and Super Pets. Trilogy. I'm kind of mad. The main character didn't get that much clout, but that's the way the world is. Bobcat, Aquaman and the Return of the Air Bubbles. I'm afraid it's a very sad situation. Very, very sad situation. Because as a DC fan, I want to celebrate a live action universe. And I can't do that. I can't celebrate it because it's a mess. But this has ended it. The Ezra Miller situation has killed it. Because everything depended on the success of Flashpoint. Because they were using that film to reboot the franchise. And I always said, if the Flash movie doesn't work, the DCEU is over. The Flash movie hasn't worked because they got a nut job in the starring role. It hasn't worked. The DCEU is over. '80s rewind the times, '90s, no matter what. I'll always support DC, live movies, but man, what could have been? It's sad, very. Bobcat, yeah, the squirrel from SpongeBob. True J, Bobcat, the air bubbles weren't the problem. It was WB changing his idea. If you actually saw his vision, you wouldn't say that, but this studio just does what it wants. Without knowing the comics, it's funny. Trill J makes a great point. In terms of the air bubbles, physically, right, he gave it some nuance. He said, well, people can't talk underwater without having oxygen, right? So he creates these air bubbles so they can talk inside them. It actually, in a reality base, it actually makes sense. It does. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. I don't find it hilarious. I don't know why Bobcat finds it that funny. But anyway, yeah, so he was trying to use science. He was trying to be factual with that. So to me, it's not a big deal. To some, it is. Never mind. Ultimately, it's a bit of escapism, and you probably don't need to go that deep and say they're talking air bubbles. So I get it. Bobcat, either way, air bubbles are funny to me. That's good. Go and have a bath and blow some air bubbles then. You'll be laughing all day. So, yes, they are your headlines. We've only had one headline today on today's DCEU Daily. Ezra Miller was arrested and released pending further investigation. Yes, he's back in his own home of Hawaii. It looks like Ezra Miller must be now done playing the Flash. It looks like the DCEU is done because the Flash movie, everything was depending on the Flash movie being successful. So you only have to add one and one. If you don't know what that is, it's two. And say, you know what? The DCEU is dead. This has been the DCEU Daily here on Movies TV Man with your host, me, Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives, please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss this beautiful perfection. And I'll be back 6 p.m. UK time for your usual annual dose of me talking to you, reacting to your comments, reacting to your questions here on Movies TV Mad Live from 6 p.m. tonight. So don't miss it. Bobcat, see you, Mick. Love the stream. Thank you, Bobcat. Loved having you on the stream. So until we see each other again, goodbye. Au revoir. Auf Wiedersehen. See you later. Thank you, everyone. Trill J, love you, Mick. Thank you, Trill J. Love you too. See you later. Bye-bye. Goodbye.